inches in the rear. Holy smoke! Hey, what's going on, everybody? EXO coming at you here on the brink of destruction with the good old bass fan. Goodness gracious, what a great event this past weekend going to Slamology. It was like the biggest bass event ever, man. We were jamming on these 1218s. Take a look at that. Hats off to everyone that came out. It was a great experience. Thanks again for all your positive feedback last time. And even though I tried my best, tried my darndest not to do damage, you know, leaving the doors open, not going so crazy on the volume knob, trying to be conservative because I knew the firewall wasn't complete. It was like the Achilles heel of the system. You know, obviously there's a lot of important stuff that connects to it. I should have been better about it, dang it. Because little did I know when I got home, the problems that I brought up in the last video were just the beginning, man. There's a whole lot more wrong with this. Let me show you. Now, first glance, you gotta admit, it doesn't even look like anything's wrong up here. Maybe a couple broken plastic clips. I'm willing to accept that as a casualty of bass, especially in an extreme situation like that. That's no big deal. Maybe even a nut in a bolt would be definitely the go-to method right there, so I ain't sweating it. It ain't till you look inside that you notice a bunch of bracketry in there. And not only did the weld separate, the cowl extension is now hanging by a thread, and all of the motors for the dang wipers are dangling like the end of Between the Lions. I'm telling you, this thing just did not care, and it goes all the way to the one over here. Look, so now it's all disconnected. So we gotta address that as well as replacing the tube for the fluid because it got pinched here. And if you didn't see it from last time, we did end up breaking off the brake fluid reservoir, hanging off like this from all that flex, man. The master cylinder was lucky to leave the show. So that ended up being a little more expensive than I thought, but we got the parts en route from the dealership because no one else had it. These are the things you just don't even really think about before going to a big show like that. And that's where it really gets depressing for this next part because I thought I did due diligence checking over all this on the checklist before leaving for the road trip, which is this front suspension, man. I'm telling you, I left with about almost 2.5 inches before the bump stops. But take a look at this. This is pathetic. What the heck happened? All those freaking highways? I guess I was just going over bump after bump and slowly but surely it just wasn't rebounding. I'm telling you, I had inches before that bump stop. So I got a problem. I think the saving grace is gonna be this strut and coil spring assembly. If you look closely, I think we can fit a nice big beefy set of coils in there, man. GP has always been my go-to for that with Little Blue sagging with all that car audio. So I think between a nice upgrade there, we'll be in business. So what the heck, right? Even with all that effort to be responsible and conservative for my first show, trying not to unleash the beast right off the gate because I knew the shenanigans would be at their utmost. We just couldn't help it, right? We had to at least have a little bit of fun, and we ended up breaking a little more than we anticipated. But that's the name of the game, right? But I cannot wait to really test the SPL in this, because even though a number was posted out there, that wasn't a burp. I didn't even have the correct environment set up for that scenario. So when I really do that and start to test some videos, it is gonna be wild, and I just can't wait to share that with you guys. So definitely stay tuned, because I have to say, as much as the build has been done to this point, it's like, oh man, satisfying and almost like, oh, bittersweet. Let's be honest, the build has just begun. There is so much to do, and I know it's gonna be even more intensive and more eye candy than ever before because it's actually ready to play. So definitely stay along for the ride today, though. I think I'm gonna do something that's swallowable and achievable with this whole area up here. Maybe we can get that welded. We just need to start tackling that area because, let's face it, it's being destroyed. Let's get this show on the road. She's really stuck on there. I'm gonna go get some PB Blaster. That was a little more difficult than I thought. They're freaking seized on there. Remind me to dab a little bit of anti-seize on the nipple when I get back around to her, because it looks like she getting some moisture. This stupid thing is not coming up. Holy crap! Huge shout out to all the people who were helping at the show, freaking whatever it took, duct tape, freaking rags. We were wrapping this thing up so it wouldn't destroy the windshield. Definitely did the trick. Now we can move on to the cowl top, just that plastic piece that hovers there. It should come right off now. It's in a perfect world. Oh wait, I got these hoses. I gotta disconnect real quick. Oh, friggin' finally. All right, I get it now. This whole front face is, like we thought, a part of the same bracket, so it's broken across the entire bit. So I think this plastic shroud is right in our way, though. I'm gonna take that off right now and see if we can get a better view. Well, I'll be damned. It's even more than one piece than I thought. It's like a whole hinge assembly. So one definitely affects the other, but you can see by that unpainted surface, yeah, that is not good. The motor is midway, and that even is separated by that little access point. So I think just by looking at it, I want to say I can reach my hand back there and get a nut and a bolt and drill out these, because it's so thin. I don't really want to mess with welding. Let me see if I can brainstorm some nuts and bolts, and if I have to weld it, I will. But I'm going to stick a camera deep inside this little cavity and see how much room we're working with in there. Looks like we got a good chunk of space in there. I think I can fit my fingers behind and get into these little holes, put some hardware in there. Should work out just fine. Just a couple holes drilled right through it, you know, the proper size. We can fit that right in the existing holes. I really don't want to try to gouge out too much. The clearance of this little pan is nothing. So I'm gonna try to avoid that at all costs. See, that's not so bad after all. It's just kind of intimidating to get the job started, but once you get going, yeah, we're rolling right along here. Now, to get to this reservoir, you can see it's like kind of right in your way. There is a couple bolts here that we can undo to access it. So that's what we're gonna do next. This is called the Cowl extension. You can see another bolt right down there. We're gonna have to undo this grommet and pull everything through. That way we can safely remove everything. It's crazy how much you have to undo just to go forward. You gotta go backwards a million. Thanks, engineers over at Nissan. Let's just get her done. Man, what a flimsy piece of junk. What the heck? This definitely has gotta go. Well, no, I gotta leave it, but I'll maybe reinforce it. Well, I'll definitely reinforce it. What the heck is this? I was doing another once over here, and I just noticed something that also needs to be addressed. Look at this seam. There's not even any seam sealer in here. Listen to this. Oh my gosh, that's like where the windshield meets the top edge of the firewall. It's not even welded. It's like press fit into place. You can hear it from over there. So what I'm gonna do is, in strategic places, I'm gonna go through with some hardware and really clamp those together. But before I do that, with my thumb, inside that tiny seam, since there's just a valley of nothingness, I'm gonna jam it full of PL. Since it's really a nice thick adhesive, she'll do the job to kind of grab as well. But we just want it to be sucked tight, real nice and solid. little bit of extra, a little gunk will do the trick. So let's get that going right now. 18 holes later, and I'm just now realizing those little circular marks I was using kind of for pilot marks for my holes, those were pinch wells that got broken off. This whole time I thought it was just kind of press fit together, but no, the base freaking destroyed it. So that's why it was all crinkly, crackly from the beginning. We were able to get nice even spacing using the factory locations. So I'm just gonna keep it simple, man. Nuts and bolts to the rescue. We'll add some lock washies on there from the spare bin. Let's get to laying some PL. Fast forward some Goopa Troopas and we got a whole hunk of PL lining down the front seam of this firewall. You can definitely see what I'm talking about from this angle a little bit more because the bolts stick down. It almost acts as an extra brace because we bridge the gap between the empty space behind it so it literally can't move up and down anymore. Just with that little bit of extra touch and we've solved the problem, buddy. And when I say solving the problem, it's really just that one little area. There's still plenty more in the surrounding that are kind of have its weak spots. So we'll get there. It's just a matter of gaining the confidence and possibly my mighty Justin to get here and fly his ass down here for the dash freaking board. I have a lot of apprehension even getting into this right here because of my track record with removing stuff, freaking breaking windshields, ruining harnesses, bricking my vehicle. But until then, I think I got another idea for this video. With GP already on the case for our front suspension with the no sag springs, I figured we could boot a little TLC into the rear end with a quick swap of our Sumo springs. We got some even beefier guys right here with the black Timbrins. These suckers right here are rated for 6,000 pounds of extra capacity, so we're increasing it up from 2,600 to 6K. I'm such a fan of this style of suspension upgrade because a person like me can do it in their garage in a matter of minutes. All it takes is undoing those two bolts on either side, swapping out to the better parts. Let's get going. Nice. Looks like we just started to lift off the axles there. Good to go. I'm actually gonna recycle these spacers because they're so high quality and they're a perfect inch. I think if we set those on top of the new mounting brackets, I think that'll give me even more wiggle room. Whoops, had a bit of a brain fart there, guys. I guess I can't use this plastic spacer after all because the bracket has it built right in. Should have noticed that from the start, so the profile is just a little too deep to fit in, so we gotta take it out to install her. Alright guys, we officially got them installed, the left and the right. I jacked it up a little higher than before, so that's why there's a larger space on the bottom. So we're about to relieve the jack right now and see what the before and after shots are. Before the swaparoo, I think we were about 16.5 inches from the lip of the bumper here to the floor. So let's go ahead and bring her down, see what the verdict is. Would would you look at that? We gained like 2 inches in the rear. Holy smokes. That's like a mile for a bass head, so I'll take anything that I can get. Super grateful, man. The hardness, I guess having that 6,000 pound capacity was just that much better than these at 2,600. You can feel it when you press it in. You can almost push it down with your hand a little bit, but with those other ones, there's no doing that at rest. So I think these, with the extra robust nature of the rubber, that's right up our alley. Plus, it's better for colder temperatures, too. Another thing I forgot to mention is that I ended up replacing my big fat fanny here because one of my fins was already broken when I got it, and the version 2s ended up being twice as thick. So Spark whipped up this awesome Showtime looking one with all that cool insignia. What a great decoration for this side of the box. I only had like 4 inches to play with, so I needed something with a real low pro measurement, and this looks great. I'm loving it. Ordinarily, I'd just chuck a couple bilge fans, radiator style, or even PC fans if I could in an area like this, but since I don't got the profile distance with this sliding door needing to shut, I figured a nice show-worthy decorative piece was right up my alley. So if you're interested in something like this, definitely check out the links. I think we got a mini version of this loaded up and ready to go. So with all that in mind, just doing everything it takes to keep this in a working state. Oh my gosh. It's crazy what one debut will do, so we're gonna call the dealership right now and see if we can get this part in, man. It was like a needle in a haystack. What, in the reservoir? Eventually we'll figure out some sort of secondary housing to kind of hug it while the bass is hitting. So let's go ahead and see if they finally have the part, man. It's taking forever. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, they think the engine went out in the daily, so now I'm stuck with this tiny Chevy for the time being. Heck yeah, everything's looking good. I just don't want to talk about how much I had to spend on it. Woo! Hey, look, a deer. Did you see it? It just ran up into the corner here. Hey, have a good day. Have a good day. Just got back from a beautiful drive, fresh parts in tow, ready to be installed. We're gonna save that for the next video, and to give you a little teaser of what's to come as well. Oh, I'm getting them blown up over here. I have just started the driver's side door panel, so look forward to a whole build video doing 4 8s, 3 6s, and of course 3 tweeters up there with the crescendo and chiare mix. So I just gotta take it slow, 1 foot in front of the other, and we'll get there, guys. You know, it is quite the undertaking, so I'm not going to take that for granted. We got a lot more left to do. It is almost like the build is all starting from scratch all over again. But now I just got confirmation from good old Justin that the Sundown Show is the next possibility. Can't quite make the XS Power Show down here in Knoxville, but the Sundown Show in North Carolina does seem like a possibility. So if you're in the area, this big front section should be all buttoned up by then, busting some bass for all the bros. Until the next video, I will talk to you then, just getting some stuff done. Stay loud and stay proud, everybody. EXOcontralto signing out.